Welcome to First Things First. I'm Brooke Blurt. My pronouns are she and her.
I'm Matty Mills. My pronouns are he and him. And before we get started, we'd like to acknowledge the custodians of the land on which we record. And today, for me, that's the Gadigal People of the Eora Nation.
And for me, it's the Ricardo people of the Cooler Nation. Let's get into it.
Yama, how are you?
Kaya, I'm well. She's a bit tired.
Yeah?
It's been a bit of a busy week. It's been a chaotic week. I feel a bit flat, if I'm being honest. I think I'm even getting like sick, or my voice is. I've been talking that my voice is just like gone down like 3 octaves.
Well, what have you been doing? Like, are you just run off your feet busy, or are you doing like extracurricular activities that we don't know about? What's going on?
I feel like, you know me, like life is always changing in an instant. This week it has been pretty chaotic because I've been having to manage all of my like normal jobs like social media and youth work on top of Fashion Week that's happened, and then also starting acting school full time, so that's 3 days a week. So that has been very, 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 very intense and also rewarding and quite like insightful, but it just is so much energy, and I'm now kind of getting a little bit concerned that I've like done the wrong thing.
Well, I feel like you've always been someone to take on a lot of stuff, but you get to experience heaps of things in life and get things done and live out your dreams through doing it. So it's like there is a little bit of like a push and pull. When you take too much on, you do give a little bit more of yourself, and then you get exhausted. Like I've been there. But Fashion Week, like tell me about your looks. You turned out a few Exipe. Do you know Pig Latin? Exipe.
God, I haven't heard Pig Latin in years. Oh my God.
Looks, you looked awesome. Like, I mean, what was your favorite look, and what was your favorite thing you saw on the runway?
Fashion Week was a bit weird this week. I must admit, like it just had a very unusual vibe. I mean, the best show by far was probably the Emerging Mob, which was run by Mob in Fashion, which is Nathan Maguire's.
Yes, Nathan Maguire.
Yeah, so that was...
Shout out to him. Isn't he just the most beautiful person?
He's so deadly.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, I have like a brotherly crush on him, I must say. Like, not like in like a, weird way. It's more like everything he does and puts his touch to just shines, and he's got this beautiful light about him, and I'm like, you know what, like from afar I'm just admiring everything he's doing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I was like, that's probably been my favorite show. I had plans to go to so much more shows, but at points during the week I was like, I just can't do it. Like, and I think that's like obviously good to do sometimes when you're not feeling it mentally. I mean, the looks, I had a red look and a sort of beige flower look. Like I felt like a little flower and then a little bow.
A little lotus.
I just feel like, I mean, I love both looks, but I just felt like a version of me. Like I didn't feel like Brooke. I just felt like a version of myself that, and this is the thing. Can I just like have a bit of a rant for like 2 secs? These are the events really that isolate me more than anything, which is kind of funny in a way because I'm like...
Fashion?
Yeah, Fashion Week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you.
My rant is the questions that I've been getting.
Yeah.
So the questions that I've been getting lately is like, and constantly, not just at events, but just in general, it's like, oh, well, what's next for you? And I'm like... What's next for me is just fucking living. I'm not asking you what's next. So why are you asking me what's next?
Yeah. I get that. I mean, I suppose it comes with the whole idea of a public platform and people having interest in your life, and people thinking, okay, well, what's the future hold for this person who I have interest for? But I understand why that's frustrating.
It's just like happened so much. Like it has been asked to me like 5 times this week.
Okay, well, I'm going to apologize on the pod for asking this because I'm just looking at... I'm actually just pulling up her messages now, and the message that I sent yesterday was, what's the next steps in terms of career?
Exactly. But it's not, I'm not pointing the finger at you.
No.
Please don't.
No. I know that. But like, I think that you bring up something which is interesting, which is like, why so much pressure? Why do people put on so much pressure on people to reveal to them what's coming up in their life or sort of put the pressure on them to have to do something next. I understand it. I remember last year, we both went together and how intense that was. Like the energy around Fashion Week anyway is very superficial, I find. It's very, what meets the eye and nothing else. And I think that maybe fashion for me is an intimidating space to be a part of, but then also like the people who are a part of fashion, I find that sometimes there isn't much substance, like there isn't much depth. This is an overgeneralization, of course, but when I've ever interacted in the fashion sphere, I've never felt safe and I've never felt comfortable. So like I'm definitely not going back to the fashion world anytime soon. But maybe it's the fact that you're, in a space that is like that, plus the questions that might have just like, I don't know, added up.
Yeah. And like I haven't normally been this sensitive. I'm always just like pretty like, oh yeah, this is happening and this is happening. But I also don't really like talking about myself in like, this is the only platform and space that I really generally am like, okay, this is what I'm doing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with you asking those questions because that's our job.
Yeah.
But it's just like complete strangers. And it's like sometimes you just want to say to them, well, what are you doing? Well, what are you doing with your life?
Totally. Yeah.
Like I've got 7 different fucking things going on at once and you want to ask me what's next. How about ask how my day is?
Yeah. Do you think that maybe the fact that like people want something bigger and better every time as well? Like they want the next thing to be bigger. They want the next thing to be better. They want the next thing to be something that's going to like knock them out of the park again. It's like, I think that happens with artists and creatives generally, where everything has to be bigger and everything has to be better. But I think those words are a little bit like redundant when it comes to creative anyways, because like it doesn't have to be bigger, it just needs to be evolved.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I have evolved as a person in the media and I don't feel like I want to do bigger and better, but I want to do a way where it's like I'm choosing this. I'm not just being a passenger again in the process. I'm driving these things and that's exactly what I feel like I'm doing right now is I'm going away, I'm working on my craft so then I can project myself forward and I'm okay with that. Like I want to do that. But it's like, just the what's next thing is like, it's just a little bit like, come on people.
And also in some way, that idea of asking someone what's next, it does sort of minimize each thing you've already done anyway. Yeah, I can see that. I was going to say, do you remember when I came to your house like maybe like a year ago and you had a vision board? And I wanted to ask you like, because I'm about to like do a vision board. And I haven't really done one in the past. And the stuff that's on your vision board, do you cross-reference it to see sort of if you're on track or not when it comes to your life and career or not?
I'm a very visual person. So this has been something that I've incorporated in my life for years. I think like I need to see what I want to do and I guess also just manifest the things that I want coming through into my life. There's people do it so differently. I mean, I look at my vision board last year and many of the things actually like happened. So it is crazy to think like that you could see this thing every single day and slowly one by one you're kind of ticking it off and and being like, oh yeah, like last year I wanted to make Melbourne feel like a little bit more like home. I wanted to get more sun. I even specifically wrote down like brands that I wanted to work with and they've all sort of come to like full fruition. You know what I mean? Like, So I truly believe in vision boards. And I think if you are even if you're not a visual person, I think seeing something every single day in a space that you are in every day, like I had it in my room, it's like, well, you're always going to be thinking about it like subconsciously as well. So then you're going to be like projecting that out of your body, if that makes sense. So the science is there.
Totally. I've never done one. Where do you start?
The best thing I think, right, to set the vibe is actually to do it with someone or a group of people.
Yeah, well, I want to do it with my partner because I want to make sure that we're sort of on a path walking towards the same direction and we know we're on our way. Wherever that path leads to, we don't know, but like at least we're going in the right direction. And I think we were talking about, he calls them dreams maps and I call them vision boards. I'm like, let's do one, but I don't know where to start. Like,
I
what's the
think
process?
you need to gather like quite a few materials. So in terms of like magazines and like pictures and print off a few things. But I think also sometimes writing a list in your head, so getting out of like what's in your head that you want for the year, or in terms of like even categorizing it. So love relationships, friendships, that's kind of one. Career goals, fun. So I always write some things that I would like to do just for fun. And then, and it could vary. Like, I mean, I personally wrote one that's all the brands that I want to work with this year. And I listed them on just one thing. And that's for quite niche and a bit unique. But I want to see that every day and be like, oh, yeah, I haven't worked with that one yet. Oh, I should have, start incorporating that in my daily life, etc. But so categorize it if you feel like that's better, and then start to like gather pictures and images that make you think of what that is.
Okay.
And then I guess slowly, I would prefer just having it on one. This year I've got it on the 5 different ones, and it's so hard to look at 5 different things.
Yeah.
So I'd like to compress mine.
Yeah.
But also, like, when you're there and you're doing your vision board with your partner, like, don't hone straight in on it sometimes. Like, just allow, images and pictures and colors and things to like come to you. Like, if you gravitate towards something, act on it. I have weirdly felt like I've been very like drawn to the color green this year. Like, I want to get more either green in my life, like sage green. And I've changed like little things in my life where that color has kind of come through, which is so weird. I didn't really plan on, because, like, I'm a brown girl, like brown is it. Like, but that's something that's like, it's that green color is like coming through in some weird way. And I think like it's generally, I feel like my years in life have had a themed color, which is so weird.
Wow. Okay.
I know, it's very strange, but I think last year there was like this warmth. I needed to feel warm. I needed to be in my soft girl era, so I needed soft, warm colors.
Yeah.
Where this year I feel like green is like
outdoors.
Yeah, like nature. But also I think green is money.
Yeah. True. Yes. And what did that psychic say? She said that you'll be coming into money. So, I mean, that makes sense to me. But speaking of green, I actually, side note here, but I hiked a mountain on the weekend in thongs.
Did you
like,
really?
Is that just not the blackest thing ever? Like, I'm just like walking up. I mean, it's quite like I would say Bogan Aussie as well.
No, it's giving mountain goat.
But that's exactly what I needed over the weekend. I needed to get out and needed some nature, because I'm off to see my family this week on country, and I just needed to like get my headspace together, go to the ocean, let some shit go, and then just get in that car and get to my home. I'm going this week, and it's a really important week for my family. We find out everything that happened to my brother, and because there has been a plea that's been put forward, which we're very happy with, and we get to find out basically all the details now, which is going to be a big week for my family, and it's like a tough week. But I needed to like clear myself of like any juju that I was holding on to, and so I went up a mountain and went to the ocean and spent some time with my partner down south. It was so nice. And then today I'm going back on country, which will be good for me too. But
that's a lot. I mean, emotionally, like that's a lot to have to, I guess, because that happened a year or so ago.
Yeah,
and to be pulled back into it, like that's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot, because as with this sort of thing, you don't get to know everything because it's before the courts. And so there's a lot of he say, she say. And I feel like, we've all had questions around, what exactly happened? And we only know as much as people have told us, because, we can't know everything before the court date. So it's sad, but it's also like there's a bit of closure there. There's a little bit of coming closer to accepting it for me. And like, I just want to be there for my dad. So I'm just going to be with my dad, like on his hip all week, and just like make sure he's right, because he's also just like getting older and it's scary and we're getting older. Do you ever just sometimes think, fuck, we're nearly 30?
All the time. Literally still talking about it.
I just sometimes think, fucking hell, like we've lived, I would say, definitely a third of our life. It gets scary when you start to think, have you got less years than you?
I'm thinking I've already got halfway of my life. I mean, I'm not going to last till 90. What do you mean?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm hoping to last a long time because I don't want to be a statistic, like our life expectancy is quite low, but I feel like charging forward in life at the moment is like my main priority. Like I just want to start to tick things off. Like I'm actually, you know what I'm doing? I'm ballsing up and doing things that recently, like in terms of my career, that I didn't think that I would be doing. Like I'm literally knocking on the doors of people who I just, most people say, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, no, you can. Like, what's stopping you from asking for this, or, talking to this person to see if you can, have an opportunity? Like for me, okay, I need to like step into that next gear. I want to go like faster now.
I did the same thing, actually. I reached out to a politician in Victoria to have coffee. And that's why I'm like, fucking Fashion Week like ruined the whole thing because the timing and schedule.
The commitment, yeah.
Yeah.
And Fashion Week is a big commitment.
It is. It's just a lot, especially when you're not finishing until like later in the afternoon, and then you have to like run to get hair and makeup done and then, go.
Yeah.
So, that's just like, it's just like bang, 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 bang. And then you're sitting there for like 30 minutes and then it's done. You're like,
yeah.
Fuck?
I'm not big on TikTok, but I
You have been slaying the game in choreography though.
Girl, my TikTok has gone wild. Like, I'm getting like so many followers a day, plus like, I sound like such a TikToker, but like my TikTok is now on like over 300,000 views. Is that a lot?
Yeah. Especially for how many videos?
So I've got 6. Well, I've only got one choreography video, but it's on 337,000 views and 4,500 likes. Like, I feel popular. This is not like in my game park of, popularity when it comes to TikTok or social media. So like, I'm feeling quite well received, I would say.
You're chuffed. Very chuffed.
But back to the episode. The acting stuff. Tell me about it. How's it been going?
They always say, I think this is the thing that I've definitely taken away from, like, if I don't pursue acting, like if I don't decide that that's what I want to do later, which is not the case. I'm not saying that I've started it and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. I'm just like not always putting all of my eggs in my basket. But the point of me doing acting school is that I could understand myself better and also understand the craft. And I guess one of the things that they always repeat in class is if you grow as an actor, you grow as a person. And that's something that I've really noticed already in saying, like, in the 3 days that we have done class, we have built so much trust with our class, been vulnerable at times, opened up about our experiences. And I just feel like the thought of going into class and like acting and like having to put on this like person, I feel like my armor just kind of like went off.
Okay.
Like I was like, I just walked into the room. I'm like I'm being referred to by my real name, which is Brooklyn. And I'm this person that I want to be. Like I'm like, it's like all armor is off. I'm just like, I'm being a bit silly, being Brooklyn, like what I would be like with you or what I'd be like with my family and my friends. And it feels good because it does feel like I'm allowing that to happen so I can build trust and people get to know you. But it's going to like benefit me when I am having to actually like properly act.
Yeah.
It's a daunting thing. I must admit, I don't envy how hard the craft is. Like it's difficult, especially.
And it's 100% commitment. You can't go 50%. If you go even 80% of the way and you feel awkward, you're not doing yourself justice. Like, you just got to fucking... I think one of the main pieces of advice that I got was don't be afraid to be ugly, you know?
Yeah, I think that's like what I'm learning is to like just commit.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I'm very good at committing to the vulnerable parts. It's the silly and the ugly and looking like a stupid giraffe per se. Like, so if someone said, cry on this scene, okay, I'd be like, all right, I can do that. If someone said, act like a giraffe in this scene, I'd be like, get fucked.
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, no, don't take me near my emotions. They're in a box and locked away. Thank you very much. But I'm like, I can be a giraffe. I can be a fucking monkey running around here talking another language and being, stupid. But being like emotional and being serious, that's hard for me. I said monkey and stupid in the same sentence. So this week in the media, there was 2 cases of alleged racism that were spoken about, and one was from Spencer Lenu from the Roosters, and the other was from Sam Kerr from the Matildas. And did you see the 2 allegations in the media?
So one of them called him a monkey, and the other one, Sam Kerr, called him a white bastard.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah.
I have found it so interesting to see how, like, differently these were reported, but also, like, how interesting it is for if you think about just the words, like if you think about just somebody being called a monkey and somebody being called a stupid white bastard, there's like different weight to these allegations. And I think that it's interesting because, like, one is, definitely racism, and the other, even the Premier of New South Wales said it wasn't racism. And I wanted to get your take on that. Like, do you think that the stupid white bastard comment is racism?
No, because I think if you're calling a spade a spade.
Well, that's a good place to wrap it, sis. I think nail on the head there. That's all we have time for today on First Things First. But if you love us, leave us a little rating.
And if you want to follow us on our socials at It's Matty Mills, and my social is Brooke.Blurton, and we will see you on the pod next week.
Bye, guys.